What's that? Oh, Disney a thing. Wizards of Waverly Place, the movie. I've never seen it. Never seen it. Right, what animal am I? Here we go. Yes, a tiger. Good choice. Good choice. Love the stripes. Let's see if I can catch this chicken. Close. Very close. Oh, bob on! Yes!
Stretch my hands to you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey guys, hope you had a good week. Last week I mentioned that we'll be starting our new mini-series today, and so we're going to kick off with Abraham, who we find in the first book of the Bible, Genesis. And God gives him a pretty cool promise. So let's read what that promise is. So Genesis chapter 12. The Lord had said to Abraham, "Leave your country, your people and your father's household, and go to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you I will curse, and all the peoples on earth will be blessed through you." So actually reading that, it's like, that's not a clear promise from God, but the bare bones of what God says to Abraham, as he was called then, is he's going to give Abraham a huge family. Like, a huge family, bigger than we can possibly imagine, bigger than we could possibly even think of. And that's what Abraham thought as well. He couldn't even picture how big this family was going to be. And Abraham was 75 years old when God promised him that he'd make his name great and that he'd turn Abraham's name into a great nation. He was 75 years old. But for that promise to be fulfilled, it could only happen when Abraham and his wife Sarah had a son. That was 25 years later from this promise. So by the time Abraham became a father, he was 100 years old. That's a heck of an age. He's old. Very, very old. And even with the birth of Isaac, the first son he ever has, the beginning of his family, Abraham still will never see with his own eyes the great nation that God promised him at the very beginning. Even with his son being born, Abraham would never ever see that promise fulfilled. And that promise goes down and down and down Abraham's family, and we kind of come to Jacob, who you probably know as Joseph's father. Joseph with the Technicolor Dreamcoats, etc., the one who sings. Jacob has 12 sons. Those 12 sons become the 12 tribes of Israel. And the 12 tribes of Israel are it's a big nation, huge groups of people. And that is the promise God was talking about, making Abraham's descendants into a great nation. But Abraham had to wait 25 years from the original promise to him actually getting his son. 25 years, that is a long time. And he was already an old man. 75 by our standards is old. And then by the time he became 100, he was ancient by the time he became a father. So Abraham had to wait and wait and wait. I don't know if you've had to wait for many things in your life. I think probably most of us right now are waiting for coronavirus to be dealt with, for there to be a cure, for the lockdown to be lifted, for us to be able to go back to some form of normality. But it feels like it's been forever since we started lockdown, and it feels like it's going to be forever until lockdown is lifted. And something to learn from Abraham is that if we trust God, if we put our trust in him and our hope in him, he brings us through tough challenges. He brings us through tough times. He brings us through fun, happy times as well. And he promises that he will get us to the end. As he promised Abraham that his name would be great and his descendants would become a great nation. So this week, read about Abraham, read about his life, read about what he got up to and what God called him and asked him to do. The journey that he went on in those 25 years from that calling to him getting a son. And see and listen if God is saying anything to you about waiting and listening to him. Have a great week, guys. Can't wait to chat in our Zoom call. See you later.